When we talk about RVs and campers, the story usually starts in the US or North America. But let's be real for a second. People have been living nomadically all over the world for thousands of years. And if you look across the Atlantic to France, you'll find a camper that feels less like a trailer and more like a lifestyle statement. That camper is called the Carapate, and it's something truly special. This little travel trailer comes from Carapate Adventure, a French team whose work we've shown off before, and honestly, it's hard not to come back to it. The last time we talked about the Carapate was a few years ago, but it absolutely deserves another moment in the spotlight. Why? Because it completely rethinks what camping can be. Whether you're heading out for a quick overnight escape or settling in for a longer, slower adventure. At first glance, the Carapate has that charming vintage teardrop vibe. But that's only scratching the surface. Once you arrive at camp, unhitch, and get set up, the magic really begins. Along the right side of the trailer, a huge section of the wall lifts upward with ease, transforming into a massive opening that doubles as an awning. Suddenly, the inside and outside blend together, and the camper feels like it's throwing its arms wide open to the world around you. That single move changes everything. Instead of feeling closed in, you're sitting right at the edge of nature. Whether that's a beach, a forest, or a quiet mountain overlook, it creates this seamless indoor-outdoor flow that turns heads instantly and gives you a camping experience that people won't stop talking about. Along that same side, there's another clever trick. A slide-out galley reveals a compact cooking station that can be used from outside or inside, depending on your mood. It's a simple setup, but it's smart, functional, and honestly reminds me a lot of the camp kitchen Rivian once teased with the R1T. It's one of those details that just makes sense when you're actually out there using it. Inside, the Carapate doesn't overwhelm you with built-ins or clutter, and that's kind of the whole point. This camper feels more like a relaxed day lounge than a traditional RV. Picture yourself stretched out on modular mattresses and pillows, watching the sun dip toward the horizon, wine in hand, with nothing on the agenda except enjoying the moment. That's the Carapate's sweet spot. With windows on 3 sides, you're always connected to your surroundings, no matter where you sit. Still, that giant side opening is the star of the show. Toss a few cushions along the opposite wall, and you've got one of the simplest, most enjoyable hangout spaces you'll find in any travel trailer. When it's time to call it a night, the modular mattress system turns the space into a cozy sleeping area. Storage is handled with hanging soft-shell bins along the rear wall, keeping things light and flexible. Back there, you'll also find a control center that lets you manage lighting, battery power, and even the sound system with the push of a button. Solar power is an option too, which means more freedom to wander off-grid. The standard setup includes a 90 amp-hour battery and a 105-watt solar panel. But if you're planning longer stays, portable power options are definitely worth considering to keep everything running smoothly. By default, the Carapate is ideal for 2 people, or maybe a small family with a child. That said, the design is surprisingly adaptable. You can add a roof rack and rooftop tent to increase sleeping space for up to 4 people. And there's even an optional interior bunk for a child. You could also pair it with a ground tent and keep the inside as a pure lounge or gear hauling space for bikes, boards, or whatever toys you bring along. Speaking of bikes, an exterior bike rack is available, which frees up the interior even more. That flexibility makes the Carapate feel less like a rigid camper and more like a blank canvas you can tailor to your own style of adventure. One thing that often gets people talking is the construction. The Carapate uses wood as the primary material for its shell, and while that might raise eyebrows for some, there's a lot of logic behind it. Wood is renewable, durable, naturally insulating, visually warm, and relatively lightweight. It also helps keep costs down, and the finished look is something you just don't see very often in the RV world. The standard Carapate tips the scales at just 560 kilograms, or about 1,235 pounds dry, making it easy to tow. That brings us to price. The Carapate starts at around 17,600 euros, which works out to roughly $20,650 at current exchange rates, before options. Sure, that's not cheap, and it's definitely not for everyone. But if you're someone who values thoughtful design, simplicity, and a truly unique way to experience the outdoors, it's hard to find anything else that delivers the same feeling. For me, that open veranda-style layout is what seals the